8483, right? So you have used 7483. So all of you can see now whatever I am drawing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 7483. You are having, say, something like a 7447 that you will be using in almost all the experiments, and I think you have got your 7-segment display also connected, certainly with a resistor to 5 volt. And here, rather than drawing 7 lines, we are just drawing a single line with a bus symbol. So I think you are aware of this symbol. And sometimes we write the width of the bus. For example, here from 7483, how many lines are going to 7447? 4 lines. From 7447 to 7-segment display, there are 7 lines going. So sometimes we write that number beside that to indicate how many wires are running, or in other words, what is the width of that bus. So in that way, 7483, I may draw it like this, that it is having 2 4-bit operand bus. One we call A, another we are calling B. We are having C in that. I think presently maybe you have kept it grounded. So I'm showing as if I'm sending a logic 0 over here, and you are having this C out. So if this is C in, let me show ground connection. And then C out, I think you have connected to some logic, what is called that logic lamp or whatever, L1 or something you have connected to check whether carry out is there. Now, where from you are feeding these 2 4-bit numbers, I think you are using a hex keypad. Not hex keypad, I think ASCII keypad you are using, ASCII keypad, because you need that strobe signal. Okay, and here these 2 4-bit numbers, they are actually coming from 2 registers, right? So suppose one register, if a 4-bit register is here, I'm just writing R for register, then there is another register. So 2 registers in tandem coming from this, once again, just LS 4-bit you are taking out of 7-bit. So 4-bit is running through the register. So this 4-bit you are taking from here. So that was the structure, right? I have not shown the strobe signal. Strobe signal will be there. So just if I show the strobe signal is going to both the registers. However, you may use a single register, say 74273 or 74374. In that case, it's just a single IC, a single package, where you are having 8 flip-flops. So it will act as 2 set of 4-bit register with a single clock line. Though logically I have shown 2 clock lines, but in practice, maybe if you use just a single IC, there will be a single clock line that will be connected to that strobe signal. So I'm symbolically showing that there is a strobe line. So this is what you have done, I remember. So probably I have told you also that the next experiment, what would be there in the last class itself. So anyone remembers that? What is the next extension we have mentioned?
So you mentioned we have to add, subtract numbers.
We have to
add and subtract.
Add and subtract. Okay. So the next extension will be add and subtract, and probably we have outlined the scheme also. So do you remember how to do that?
Number followed by A followed by another number is addition, and number followed by B followed by another number is subtraction.
Okay. So it might be something like this, that say as you are saying that 2 numbers, maybe I say 7 and 5. So suppose I pick up 7 and suppose I pick up the key A for addition, and then maybe I could say I'm saying 4, 7 and 4. Okay. So then the result that I expect is 11. So in the display, 11, do you remember how it will be displayed? It will be reverse kind of C. So in the 7-segment display, we expect this type of result. Now when we do 7 subtract 4, so let us say that B key we are assigning for subtraction. So A for addition, B for subtraction. Else, because you are using ASCII keypad, instead of A and B, if you use hex keypad, then you can use AB. Instead of A and B, you may choose the plus and minus sign also, because you are actually working with an ASCII keyboard. Plus and minus are there. So depends on you. I mean, either you can use AB or you can use plus minus, whatever. So 7B4 or 7 minus 4, that will give you a standard result of 3. Okay. So that is what we want for addition and subtraction. So that will be the modification. So if I put that just now, whatever I have drawn, I assume that you have done this one. So with respect to this, what are the changes do you think I need to have?
So one more register we have to add.
One more register we have to add. What will be the purpose of that?
To store the A and B characters.
That is the operator, if I call that addition or subtraction. So it will store the operator. So right now we are storing only the operands, assuming that it is only capable of addition, and which is actually so. So here you are correct. So we would put something like 3 registers in cascade. So let me quickly draw 3 registers in cascade. So once again, I assume that 4-bit will flow. So if you really use an IC like 74273 or 374, you require 2 of them. One will serve the purpose of 2 registers. Half of another one will be used as another 4-bit register. So now this 4 is coming out. So they are all registered. So I presume that you will be connecting the ASCII keyboard or keypad, whatever you call, over here, taking 4-bit from that. So other 3 bits you are not using. And
So could you please move the screen a little bit down?
okay. Sorry. So this ASCII keypad that is having the strobe signal, which logically once again I am showing that it is going to 3 registers. In practice, maybe there will be physically 2 ICs. So the strobe signal will go over there. So right now I am having something like storing the operator as well. So middle register is storing the operator. Is that so? So can I get the operator over here? Is that correct? Or it will be above this or below this, where it will appear?
Operator will be here, sir, I think. Where we have shown.
So whatever I have drawn is correct, right? If I want to get the operator, that's what is the operator. And then other 2, I would get this operand. So if I say 7A4 or 7 plus 4, then plus or A I will get here. Where I will get 7, where I will get 4, here what I will get? Do I get 4 or 7?
7.
7. So whatever I have pressed first, that will come over here, followed by operator and then the second operand. Okay. Now, what is the policy of subtracting a binary number? How do you subtract? Addition we know.
Using 2's complement.
By 2's complement, we like add it to the number. And then if carry bit is generated, then the answer is positive, and if no carry bit is generated, then the answer is negative.
Okay, so let us try to do this one just to, I think, though it is very obvious, but just to exemplify this. So 7, if I take 7, binary notation is what? 0, 1, 1, 1. And I want to subtract 4. Okay, so what should I do? How do I subtract? What should I write here? You said something like 2's complement. So 7 is 0, 1, 1, 1. 4 is what? 0, 1, 0, 0. So now tell me, what should I do? This is 7. Here, what should I write?
So like for converting 4 to 2's complement, we'll first convert it to 1's complement and then add 1.
Okay, 1's complement means it's a bit by bit complement, right? 0 will become 1, 1 will become 0. So 1, 0, 1, 1 is it's 1's complement. Okay, so it's 1, just I'm writing 1C. So how do I make it 2's complement?
So now
By adding 1.
By adding 1. So either I can add 1, I can show 2's complement, or because I have already written as 1's complement, I'm just writing this one, and I would add 1 also with that. So now can I do this? So is it equivalent? First of all, I have not converted into 2's complement. I have just kept that 1's complement, and I'm adding as if 1 over here. It is basically the same thing. I'm not going into 2 step. Earlier I need to add this 1 with here. It will become 1, 1, 0, 0 anyway. But right now I'm showing that 1 over here explicitly. So 3 1s. How do I add? Prompt me.
1.
1 with a carry of 1. So carry I'm not writing over here. You can mentally think of it. So once again there are 3 1s, so it will be 1. Then put the carry over here, 2 1s. How do I take down?
0 and carry 1.
0. There is 1 carry over here. So again 2 1s. So I can put over here. with a carry over here. So some of you are telling something about the generation of the carry. If carry is generated, then how to interpret that and what?
So if carry bit is generated, then the answer is positive, and the answer is the part discarding the carry bit.
Okay, so discarding the carry bit, I find 3, so that is what I expect. So 7 apparently. What is happening when I do this 2's complement kind of stuff? Suppose 1's complement, if I do force 1's complement, what is the value here actually in terms of value? If I take
11.
1's complement, it is 11. So can I conclude that 2's complement, 1's complement of some number will be 15 minus that value?
Yes.
As long as we are talking about 4-bit unsigned, it will be like this. And if I add 1, then what will happen? 2's complement will be 16 minus that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here if I have added this one, so this taken together, that will be 16 minus 4, right? That 12 means 16 minus 4. I'm taking 2's complement. So if I add 16 minus 4 with 7, what will be the result? It will be 16 plus 7 minus 4. 7 minus 4 is my intended result, and that 16 stays over here. So that is why the carry is being generated, which I need to ignore. So that is coming because of the 2's complement operation. So I think it will probably be discussed in the theory class, or you are already aware of it. So once again, let us not spend time on this. This is just to see that, okay, how it works. So now maybe the question is that I am having at my disposal only a 4-bit adder, that is 7483. I need to implement add or subtract. So this operator, this so-called the first operand, that will come as it is to the 7483. Other operand, depending on the operator, either I have to pass it as it is, or I have to make 2's complement of that. So how do I do that? So just let me draw that 7483. I'm drawing it a little wider so that I can put the buses appropriately. So this is the 4-bit operand. One operand is coming. Where from I will get the other operand? It should come from this, right? That is the other operand's place. So this other operand, in your earlier design, you have directly connected it because you know that it will always add. Now I need to pass it as it is. If it is addition, I need to make 2's complement. If it is subtraction, so how
You can use an array of XOR gates.
Array of XOR gates. So how that helps?
So we can use a kind of a flag signal. Like one input of the XOR gate will be the input itself, and the other input will be a flag. So if it is 1, it will be inverted. If it is not, then it will go as it is.
So we are using the property of the XOR gate, XOR as a controlled complementer, I may say, that if this value is say A, I mean this logical variable, Boolean variable, I'm calling it A, and this is the other line, if that is the control line, I call C. So then if I put C equal to 0, then A XOR C is now A XOR 0, that is A is passed as it is. And if I make C equal to 1, then A XOR 1 is A bar, right? So you already know that, okay, XOR can be used as a controlled complement operation. So if I make the other input 0, A will pass as it is. If I make it high, A bar will come at the output. So I hope there should not be any confusion about that. So is there any question till this point before we proceed further? Then I may stop and clarify.
So can you repeat like where we will be using that XOR gate in this that part?
So here, let me name some of this. So suppose whatever we have shown, this first operand, let us say I am calling it P. I have already used A and B. Suppose I call the first operand as P, second operand as Q. So where I am getting P and Q, here at this end of the register I am getting P, then I am getting the operator, and here I am getting Q, right? So for P plus Q, I need to pass this operand Q as it is into 7483, right?
Yes.
Okay. And for subtraction, what I need to do? I need to take complement of that and add 1 with that, right? So that will be conditional, that whether I will pass the number as it is or I will complement it. So I'm just drawing, and then you may tell me that, okay, whether that is having any flaw. So I am drawing a set of XOR gates. So I mean, maybe formally whenever we are showing it a bus-like structure, we used to draw it like this. So maybe you can become familiar with that. I'm initially drawing like this, then I will expand the drawing also for your convenience. So this is just one bit, but which one bit I think we have not yet defined. Here I'm showing it as a bus. So I do not know whether you are familiar with this type of symbol. I have drawn an XOR gate. In one case I have shown a bus symbol. In the other one I am just showing a single line. So how do you interpret that?
Line to all the XOR gates.
So it is actually a shorthand notation of showing that, okay, there are as many 2-input XOR gates as the width of this bus, which is 4 bit. So in this case, we may understand that there will be, so let me just explode this view. So there will be 4 XOR gates. Basically, there will be 4 lines for Q, right? So 4 lines are coming from whatever that register content is, which is basically different bits of Q. So these 4 bits, they are part of Q. And the other input to this 4 XOR gate, they are actually common. They are common. So this line is now my control signal. So if I make this control signal low, then what will happen? Q as it is, if I consider Q to be a 4-bit number, as it is will appear at the output of this XOR gate as the same 4-bit number. But if I make this control line, which is common to all the XOR gate, as high, then what I will get here? Yes. One's complement, that is bit by bit complement basically, right? So in that case, I will get bit by bit complement at this point. So whatever I have drawn, it is basically 4 XOR gates together. And if you see the list of ICs, then you will find that there is a single IC that encapsulates 4 such XOR gates. The number is 7486. Okay, so you may just use a single IC for this purpose. Connection should be established like this, that one terminal should be common. So you need to make connections. Yes.
Sir, like for this, we have to find that specific bit which like changes to high when the operand is like B, and which
yes,
is low.
Yes, I'm coming to that point. Now the question is that here I know that, okay, all 4 bits of Q is coming. Here all 4 bits of P are coming. Now as a common line, which particular bit I will take from this 4-bit code? Or do I require some sort of logical operations over here to identify that this is plus, this is minus, or this is A, this is B? So how do I do that? So if I
can just
yes,
yeah, like we can add the bits which are high when like that is minus. So if minus corresponds to, for example, 1011, we just add the 3 bits.
Right. Okay. So let us look into this. So as you have mentioned that there might be 2 possibilities. Either you can use say A and B for addition and subtraction, or you may use plus and minus for subtraction. So if I use A and B, if I have used a hex code, then it would be, I think, let me write out, suppose a hex keypad. We are not using a hex keypad anyway. So if I have used a hex keyboard, then A means it is basically hex value of, what is the value of A? Do you remember? 10? 10.
10.
A is 10, 1010. B is one more than that, 1011. So if you just look at the pattern, then we will find that LSB is different, right? For addition or subtraction. So I can take LSB of that operator in that case to trigger this XOR gate, that if it is 1, then one's complement will go. Otherwise, if it is 0, then the number will pass as it is. So that is if I use a hex keyboard. But if I use an ASCII keyboard, then A value is 65. So 65, how do you get that? How do you feel 65 would look like? So there will be somewhere 64, 32 is not there, 16 is not there, 8 is not there, 4 is not there, 2 is not there, 1 is there. So that will how it will become 65. And B would be one more than that, 66. So in that case, this will be. So how do you use A and B from the ASCII keyboard? Because from hex keyboard it is the LSB, but now A and B are having just an opposite kind of LSB. So do I use an inverter or something else?
The second bit from LSB.
Second bit from LSB I can use, but there is a.
Sir?
Yes.
So like when we'll be using the ASCII keyboard, we will be taking the output for the last 4 bits now only, like to identify the numbers that we did in last class.
Yes. This 4 bit.
So like within these 4 bits, we have to like identify our output within these 4 bits.
Yes, it will come like this. I mean, you can always choose like that. Achha, there is just one thing we may check it up over here. That if I use a hex keyboard and use just that LSB, so then what will happen as a I may say byproduct or side effect or whatever you call that, that rather than A and B, other keys can also be used or are having the same effect as addition and subtraction other than A and B. So because I'm just looking into LSB, I'm ignoring the higher order bits. I'm not checking. Otherwise, I could have got a logical circuit to check whether this is 1, this is 0, this is 1, to identify whether this is really A or this is really B. Because just I'm looking into the LSB, it only says that the number is odd or even. So any other number, suppose I press rather than A and B, suppose just in this case 7A4, instead I press 704. Or I press 714. So then also I will get addition or subtraction depending on what is the key I have pressed, whether it's an even key or odd key, because that will decide what is the LSB. So if it is even, then it will add. If it is odd, then it will subtract. So I may say that it is something like aliasing of, you know aliasing. What is aliasing? In DSP, you call it aliasing, that some of the frequency is getting aliased or overlapped with others. So here we are having something like that key aliasing, that other keys which are having 0 in the position of LSB or so-called even bits, even numbers, they will be having same effect as addition. Odd numbers will be having same effect as subtraction. If you do not look into that, but right now I think we live with that. There is no issue. So we have just said to the user that okay, you press A for addition, B for subtraction. For the other keys, what will happen? We are not mentioning. Same thing will happen for here also. That there will be other numbers having this bit 0 or this bit 1. So depending on whether this bit is 0 or this bit 1, in that case they will produce either an addition or a subtraction. So that is once again acceptable. Now just a quick look at plus and minus sign. Plus and minus will not be there in hex keyboard. So plus and minus, what are the ASCII code for plus and minus? If any of you can just quickly look up and tell me.
43 and 45.
40?
43 and 45.
43 and 45. So apparently both are both are odd numbers. So then how do you tap that if I really use plus and minus from the ASCII keyboard?
Third bit will work, sir.
So and can you tell me the binary form of that?
43 is 101011.
Just one moment.
43 is 101011.
So which bit you think you can take?
Third.
Okay. So I'm not writing it. I think let your friends find out from that ASCII table. I think if you just Google it, you will find that. But just check that whether it is authentic or not. I think there should not be any error if you take from standard website. So you can either use plus minus or AB, whatever, but because hex keypad, this ASCII keypad is really having plus or minus, you can have that rather than A and B. So that is what is preferred. So today I think I have already mentioned everything about the circuit, and also you may say that, okay, you have designed everything, what we are supposed to do then. Okay, so just as we are saying that maybe from next week onwards we will set a hard deadline of 5 o'clock. So today let us just see that, okay, how it works, because at least during the exam we have to put that hard deadline of 5 o'clock. So for today, let us set that only this portion, because we are already having the other architecture, the first day's architecture. Okay, so you are already having a 7447 connected with this 7483, and maybe even a carry light you are already having. Okay, so plus 5 volt. And here from a very important point I think we have not mentioned. That is, whatever I have drawn, will that do? It appears that it is just one complement.
It has a carry in.
We require 2's complement. So how should I go about this 2's complement?
We use the carry signal.
Okay, so as I think I have written over there at that time, that I am taking 1's complement over here and having a carry. So we will exactly do the same thing, rather than converting it directly into 2's complement. We are adding 1's complement and we add 1 carry at the carry input pin. But if I give a 1 at the carry input, then don't you think the addition result will also show 1 more than what is intended?
So like it will, like carry in will be like high only when the complement is added in that.
Right. So carry is also conditional, like that your complement operation in XOR. So if operator is for subtraction, then you require the carry in to be high. Otherwise, if it is for addition, you require the carry in to remain low. So then how do you implement that conditional carry?
So we can directly connect it to the second register.
You directly connect it to the second register, assuming that I think there is no assumption as such, because anyway the XOR needs to be made high, this input, so that it becomes complemented. So if this line is high, it will generate a high value of carry over here. So then 1's complement and carry, that together makes it 2's complement, which we are adding with the other operand. So that will be all. So by 5 o'clock, I think you just submit this portion, as I think we have explained probably in the last class we have mentioned that there will be something, because many people are saying that, okay, we don't want a very high grade, so don't give us much pressure. So at least give something where we can get a decent grade. So that is this portion is mandatory, and as we have mentioned that you need to have a, right now we are calling it a challenge problem, but as such there is not much challenge in it. You can find out the solution in a minute. But once again, let me just make it very clear. Sorry.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, like here if the subtraction is negative, then we are not considering that case, right, in this portion?
I'm coming to that. Actually, that is the challenge problem. Okay, but anyway, if I have a let us say some result, which is let me first answer his question. I'm coming to you. So if the result is negative, suppose rather than 7 minus 4, if I try 4 minus 7, then what I would see in the display, and how do I interpret that?
So we'll get 2's complement of the answer, right?
Okay, but in that case, how do I know that the answer, whatever I am finding, whether I need to do a 2's complement of that, or that is the actual result?
So like if the complement is added and a carry bit is not generated, then the answer is negative.
Right. So in that case, this lamp will not lit up, this carry, right? If the answer is negative. Is that so?
Yes.
It's like the output of the XOR gate should be high and the lamp should not glow. In that case only, our answer is negative.
Okay, so we know that the answer is negative, and then we can interpret it like it's a 2's complement of that. So from that, probably we can make out what is the result. But for a general user, might be it will be difficult. But for us, I think who are aware of this binary arithmetic and when the carry is being generated or not, probably we can make out that the result is negative. Now, the challenge problem is something like this, that if the result is negative, if the result is actually it is having two parts. First of all, I think that also once again probably you have mentioned in the last class that what could be the range of the results, because it's just a one-digit calculator. So can it become two-digit, the output? I mean, technically, if I talk about a general user who is not accustomed with the carry convention or don't want to look at that carry LED or something. So then what is the maximum value that I can have in this case, say for addition?
18.
18.
Addition, so minimum is 0, right? Because I'm not admitting any negative number. So addition result, so it is basically the result, range of the result I'm finding for addition. It is 0 to, how much you said? Come again?
18.
18. So when I do 9 plus 9, it could be 18. So it will spread into 2 digit, and you know that, okay, in that case you would see that carry light is there, and in the display 2 will be displayed. Okay, but for general user, I think it is not possible to interpret this as 18. Okay, so first thing is to put another display over here, so that whenever the result is really more than 10, so it should show in like this, that suppose the result is 12, then it should show like this rather than that peculiar character. You know that it is interpreted as 12, but general user may not. So you need to add one more 7-segment display where 10 to 18, these results will be displayed in standard decimal format. Okay, so that I think is not really, once again, I may not call it a challenge because already you know how to do that. So just to ensure how to do that really, how to get the next digit?
Conditional addition of 6 when it crosses 9.
Conditional addition of 6, okay, when it crosses 9. Fine. So you may test it for all possible combinations. Okay, otherwise you may find that, okay, for certain combination it might not work. If you just fail to identify some additional logic what is needed or when that 6 need to be added. So that is about the addition. Okay, so addition result should be 0 to 18. All the things should be displayed. So you may check up that, okay. So particularly important is that you may check up while testing that when the result is 0 to 9, that it is being displayed properly. When the result is in the range 10 to 15, then it is also being displayed properly. When the result is in the range 16 to 18, why I am mentioning this one separately rather than just saying more than 10? What is the difference between these two? Because they are both
number
more
of
than
bits.
9. Huh?
Number of bits change, like.
So here you are getting a carry bit. Okay, and the lower order bit 4 bit will appear to be less than 9. So if you just try to capture that part only, then the result might be erroneous. So I'm just giving a small hint. I may not tell more than that because otherwise I'm telling the full thing. Probably you already are aware of the full thing. But let us look into the subtraction. That will be more interesting. For subtraction, what could be the probable range? If I think from a common user.
-9.
-9 to +9.
-9 to +9, not more than that. Okay, -9 to +9. So as we have seen that for positive results, I think there is no issue, right? But if you have already got some hardware attached for your adder, for your addition, which tests whether the value is more than 10 or there is a carry, something like this. So probably you will find that when you are displaying the subtraction result, which is positive, at that time the carry becomes high, right? So when you have modified your adder part of the design to include this so-called, I will call it a BCD correction. So when you have incorporated that BCD correction, you will find that as a side effect, this, because now you are having 2-digit display. Earlier you did not have this second digit. So if the result is 3, you are getting a 3 over here. Only thing is carry light is on, and the user may ignore that one. But right now, if carry light is on, that means if carry is there, probably you have already got something like a for adding 6 or do something. So you need to take care of that. That's for subtraction. That part should not be causing any problem in the correct result. Otherwise, earlier subtraction result was displayed fine for positive side. So please check. For subtraction, positive result is getting displayed properly. Now what about negative result? If the result, for example, 4 minus 7, how do I get 4 minus 7? Let us try 4 minus 7. 4 is this one, 7, positive 7 is this one. So 1's complement of that one is this. So if I add 1 with that, it will be 1001. So 4 and 2's complement of 7 I am adding. So then it will be 1, 0, 1, 1. There is no carry. So how do I interpret this? 1, 1, 0, 1 is how much? 13. How do I interpret the result?
Minus 16 or 2.
So it is basically minus 3. So how far I need to go to reach 16? So basically 13 minus 16 minus 3. But now if this thing is coming, I know that this result is what I did. This is 4 and I have subtracted 7 from that. So 4 minus 7, I am expecting minus 3. So in that case, can I display the result like this? The user would prefer something like this, that it would be minus 3 rather than 13 with something, even if you turn off that one. So this is maybe, I may now say that, okay, this is a little bit challenging. I may not, once again, I should not use challenging, even that's a real big word. But anyway, let us start with small steps. So as we progress subsequently towards and maybe more complex kind of stuff, so then we will do this. So is the problem clear, first of all? So we are having one-digit calculator, adder and subtractor. I think I said that let me answer your question, and some of your friend was asking. I could not find out who was asking any question. Yes.
Yes, sir. So I was asking that the operator part, we are just using A and B, or we are using any digit, which is even and odd?
No, think about a common user. If you give that system to a common user, maybe you ask the common user to use plus and minus. Sorry, not this page. Where is that? So for a common user, because it's a ASCII keyboard, so you may ask to use plus and minus rather than A, B or any other key. But it may so happen that if the user presses some other key, means other than plus and minus, then also it will be having the effect of either addition or subtraction. So in other words, I am saying that you need not have to check the higher order bits, that whether it is really plus or minus. You can just check whether a single bit can distinguish these two, and you can utilize that one for triggering your XOR operation or generating that carry input over there. Because you need to do two things from addition to subtraction whenever you are changing that operation. One is to send complement of the second operand. Another thing is to give a positive input. I mean, positive means high carry input. So these two things will be all what is necessary. So whatever key you finally decide to use, whether A, B, plus, minus, so we are just trying to find out, that would be the easiest thing, to identify a single bit which is becoming 0 and 1 in case of plus or minus in addition and subtraction. If it is the other way around, maybe I need to have an inversion of that. But I think plus or minus you can map directly. Okay. So,
Sir?
Yes.
So like, can you repeat about the submission, like what we have to submit and what is the deadline?
Okay. So first thing is, I think because you are already having this first structure, that is if you have submitted it earlier, so you are already having this previous structure where there are two registers coupled with 7483, the 7447 and 7 segment display, that is already there. So you need to add only a single 4-bit register in between. So you can rather do it on one side, and you need to have this XOR gate, a single 7486 IC. Maybe you need to place 4 XOR gates separately. Whatever you do, basically it will be a single IC. You need to put that, add some extra connection like this carry in, etc. So I do not think it will take more than half an hour anyway. So submit this part, that is mandatory. that it will be an we may call it single digit calculator, as we fondly used to call it. So single digit calculator, but calculator means it is only capable of doing addition and subtraction and nothing else, at least for the time being. So this part you may submit by 5 o'clock. I will be sending the link immediately in the Google form. And so is that part clear? Then I will proceed to the so-called challenge problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
So in this part,
yes.
which keyboard are we using?
Your last part I could not listen.
So which keyboard are we? ASCII keyboard or hex keyboard?
ASCII. You use ASCII keyboard because in the simulator only ASCII keyboard is having that strobe signal. Since hex keyboard doesn't have one, we are not being able to conveniently interface that with the registers.
Sir?
Yes.
In the first part, do we need to take the complement, whose complement of the output as well if the result is negative? Or
No, in the first part I'm not asking that. So in that case, if I do 4 minus 7, let that character for 13 be displayed with this LED off, this carry LED off.
Right. And 13, like it would be that C or something like that.
It's a slightly different character, if you remember.
Yeah, whatever.
It will be that peculiar character. Okay, so let me proceed towards this challenge problem then. So in that problem, we said that whatever just now you are asking, that what happens if the result is actually negative. So we want to have 2 more features which can make it usable for a general user who are conversant with decimal number system in general. So whenever the result of the addition, I mean in simple terms, he or she may be able to see the results in decimal form, because we know that addition or subtraction, whatever be the result, this will be in the range of -9 to +18. So it will be displayed properly with a negative sign if it is negative. Certainly addition won't be able to generate a negative sign in that case. So we have identified for our sake of ease of understanding, you may say, that addition would result in 0 to 18. So I've specifically asked you to test for these 3 cases when the result is between 0 to 9, and when the result is between 10 and 15, when the result is between 16 and 18. Because in some cases, if you miss a particular logic, you may find it is working for 10 to 15 this range, but not for 16 to 18. Then it is giving you something peculiar, or it is not correcting at all. Now, once you add this circuit, then you find subtraction results are no more being displayed correctly, because of that carry is being generated and you have used some logic to generate the second digit. So that part you need to take care of. So subtraction, you need to once again check for -9 to +9. If it is negative, then it should generate a negative sign. And I think there might be an issue when the result is 0. So 0 should not have a negative sign. But if in your design for some reason, if negative sign appears, I think we may ignore that one. So don't get bothered if your 0, if you do something like 7 minus 7, then you are getting a 0. But if you do something like 8 minus 8, then it is coming as -0. Then I think right now we can accept that one even as a problem, result for answer for your challenge problem. But in practice, I think it is better not to have such thing. But just I'm saying, in case you are having it, then that is still acceptable. So,
sir, also, also, what's the deadline for this challenge problem? Is it saying?
This problem, I think maybe you can take a couple of weeks, but unnecessarily you should not take that headache longer. Okay, as soon as possible you may submit. And let me tell you the idea that, okay, I mean, why this challenge problem is there. I'm just simply saying that, okay, maybe those who are targeting EX grade or something may attempt the challenge problem. For others, it is not essential. But as such, we want that, okay, you may browse into the list that, okay, what are the other ICs available, what you can use, because mostly for this evaluation of this challenge problem, we will see the hardware economy and certainly the correctness of the result. If you have designed something with hardware economy, but it is giving wrong results, certainly that will not qualify. So first and foremost thing, obviously, will be the correctness of the result. But suppose there are n number of submissions, out of which we find that some of them are using many more number of ICs compared to other things. So certainly, I think he or she may not get proper credit in that case. Some partial credit, obviously, he or she will get. So that is the part.
Sir?
And yes.
So like, sir, will you be sharing two separate forms for one?
Yes. I'm not sharing at all this challenge problems form for the time being. Acha, and another thing also, right now I think we are not implementing just a single submission in the form. So if you feel that by 5 o'clock you could not complete it, so whatever you have done, please submit that by 5 o'clock, and then later on you may submit it once again. I'm not closing the form, but if you do multiple submission, please mention that on the comment field that you are doing multiple submission. Otherwise, I think since many a times we are checking the assignments in parallel, so it may so happen that your earlier submission, whatever is the evaluation, that will overwrite your second submission unless you mention it explicitly. Okay, so if you feel your second submission is better, certainly I think there might be some penalty for late submission in that case. So, but please submit at least one result by 5 o'clock so that we can verify. Okay, now,
Sir,
yes.
Sir, can we make the circuit conditional? That is, when addition is taking place, then a particular part of circuits, and when subtraction is taking place, then another part.
Can you elaborate a little bit what you mean by that?
Because after implementing addition, when I try to implement the subtraction, then the same problem that you discussed right now is coming. That is what is happening is it is giving the reverse result. As I do 1 subtracted by 2, it is giving result 15 rather than -1. So what I was thinking was after implementing this part, I'll make, in case of subtraction, I'll make it show on the 2 displays via different circuit.
No, think about a user who is having a calculator. So your calculator should have just a single display, single keyboard. Okay. So
the display and the keyboard will be single, but the circuitry in between, can it be different?
Once again, I think what you mean by different, you will try to
by different time, I mean that I have implemented a particular logic for displaying this addition part. Okay. Now I want to implement the subtraction part, so I won't be using the same circuit that I was using for this addition part, and I'll be using an alternate one, but it will be on the same display and it will be taking input from the same keypad. But it will hamper the economy. That is, it will take more number of.
Yes. So you want to have something like a multiplexing of 2 different circuits. Is that so?
Yes.
Okay. But now you must see that, okay, whatever you are doing in these 2 different logic, I mean, as you are using the word 2 different circuits, so there might be some commonality between 2 different circuits, right? Suppose earlier for addition and subtraction, we could have used 2 7483, one direct in addition mode, another having just, rather than using XOR gate, I can complement that one using just some NOT gate inverter. So I would use one single 7483 in addition mode, another one with a 4 NOT gates, another 7483, and now I say I'm using 2 separate circuit for addition and subtraction, and then I will multiplex depending on that logic. So that would also work, but it will be unnecessarily wastage of that resources. So whatever you are saying, you may initially try that, but then think of the minimization of logic, because there will be, I'm sure that some portion will be in common in whatever way you design it. So try to have it as much common as possible. Okay, you will find it interesting really. I mean, that is another motivation of having some such problem, that you try to identify what are the various things available and then how to use it in more economic way.
And sir, one more thing, sir. If I have made the more complex part, can I submit it in today's form?
Can you submit it? I will not close it, but I want at least one submission by 5 o'clock, because otherwise, if more time is given, then I think probably all of you will come with some sort of solution. So, but as such, for this mandatory, I mean, whatever I am asking to submit by 5 o'clock, that doesn't need this extension. Okay, so in pursuit of making this extension, you should not lose marks on the fundamental part. If the fundamental thing doesn't work, so what we want, that at least the fundamental part, whatever marks is that, you just get that part, and then I will issue a second form for that so-called challenge problem.
Sir,
I guess.
so like for the challenge problem, which ICs can you use? Like, can you use like other ICs like extra ICs?
Any IC that you can find out in your circuit maker.
Okay, sir. And what will be the like deadline of the challenge problem? How much?
Deadline, I am typically thinking of 2 weeks if you prefer. Generally, it should be within a week. I mean, unnecessarily, why should you take the burden? Because next week anyway we will be having another problem. Okay, but in case there are some other issues or something, so maybe for the first one we can have 2 weeks, but from subsequent, maybe today is what day? Today is 26th August. So if I take 2 weeks from this, it will be 9th September. So let us set it by 9th September, and whatever problem will be given on the next class, that is 2nd September, that one will also be having same deadline. So deadline from the next week onwards for challenge problem will be 7 days only, because this is probably the first challenge problem. So you can take a little bit more time.
So I have one doubt regarding the subtraction part. So in the challenge problem, when we subtract 2, like 7 minus 4 or something, we'll get the result to be positive, right? So what should we display in the left display? Like, should we display a plus sign or like?
No. Plus sign, I think that will not. Generally, think about your calculator. Calculator doesn't display plus sign. So neither 0 nor any plus sign or anything will be displayed. It will be blanked out.
So it should be blank. Right?
It should be blank, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
In case if it is it displays 0, we won't mind, but preferably it should be blank, and there is no need for displaying something like plus sign. Plus, I think you may not be able to display also in a 7-segment display well. So it will be simply 3. Now another serious issue, that is about the evaluation. So let me once again remind all of you, because in other section also sometimes we find that people are copying. So for copying, if you remember, we have mentioned that it is clear that even if you have solved the problem, you have shared it with your fellow students. So if we find n number of similarities, we will divide the total marks by n and give everybody equitable thing. So that is for the mandatory portion. That is the whatever I said, that up to 5 o'clock. For challenge problem, it is somewhat different. For challenge problem, suppose 5 marks that is there. So then anybody is copying or sharing, he or she will get full marks. That is 5 marks, even if it is copied or shared, but with a negative sign. So if it is shared, if it is the marks is 5, you will get -5. And I think some of you, those who are in my analog lab, you know that okay, you have actually implemented that. Though I mean something it might have happened that we could not catch that, but if we can find out, because it's electronic, so there is a definite proof also. So we will implement that policy, marking policy, very strictly. Okay, so from I think it is not day 1, it is day 3 basically. So once again, I'm still saying, because now the challenge problem is there. So it is more for your own understanding and design skills. So please do not share if you have designed something. Certainly, you can always discuss amongst yourself about the kind of solution that you are having, but one must not copy directly that schematic. And I mean, sometimes we find that through WhatsApp or mail, I think one schematic is going to the other person, and then in an extreme case, I think I have received in a form someone has uploaded by mistake his friend's schematic. Okay, so then it has got a solid proof. I mean, if I give it to the authority, probably they will deregister the student. But so I don't think something must happen in this class. Okay, so just I'm telling you once again. I hope that is not the case in our section. Okay, so if there is any other question, then we can take it up.
Sir?
You are free to have. Yeah.
Sir, so what are the operators we should give to the ASCII keypad, like A and B or plus and minus?
Give plus minus, because that is more natural for a user. And in hex keypad, we are actually constrained because there is no plus and minus key. But since here in ASCII keypad, you can give plus minus, you try with plus minus. Have you already checked what is the ASCII code for plus and minus? Because it may so happen, you may say that, okay, the codes are such that I'm not being able to just tap a single line like AB or I mean for AB I think I've shown a single line.
So it's the third bit actually. We can use the third bit to identify it. That's what.
So I think let others also check that. So please check whether you can make a single bit. If that is possible, then there is no issue. And if that is not there, you can use a small logic circuit if you feel that if it is necessary, you find that okay, single bit cannot distinguish them. In that case, you may. But generally, you will find that it will probably. So is there any other question, any clarification or anything or?
Sir, so for the mandatory problem, there will be one display and the subtraction result is positive. Like we are like supposed to display the positive result, and if the result is negative, then we are not supposed to like take the complement and those things,
no,
right?
No. It will be displayed as it is, but we should be able to interpret it. That's all.
Okay.
So keep that carry light, that logic lamp, or what is that? I forgot that name in that simulator. That you are putting an LED-like thing, but LED means it requires another ground connection or power connection. So it's just like a logic probe. I think you are putting something on the carry pin. So just keep that. So if the result is negative, you know what will happen. If the result of subtraction is negative, what will happen to that light, logic lamp?
It will not glow.
It will not glow. Okay. So then we know that okay, whatever is the result, if the result shows something like C.
Sir, like the carry pin will also not glow when the addition is taking place and no carry bit is generated. So like we have to like make a condition that the output of the XOR gate is high and the carry bit is not glowing. Only in this case we will know that the subtraction is taking place and the result is negative, right?
You are talking about the challenge problem or the main problem?
Main problem, like you said that we should be able to know that the result of a subtraction is negative in the mandatory problem, like or.
So probably there is a gap of understanding. So can you once again tell me what is exactly you are thinking as the problem?
Let's say in the mandatory problem, I'm thinking that if the subtraction result is negative, the display will not be like it will be something different, but we'll be able to.
I'm giving you an example. Suppose display is C, the carry light is not lighting up. So I have tried some subtraction, for example. I'm looking for the result. So I make subtraction. Suppose some number, I'm not saying what is the number. Suppose first number minus second number. Now as a result, I'm finding that it is showing C, the character C, small c, with no glow of that carry lamp. How do I interpret it?
So the subtraction is like the result is negative.
So what will be the value?
-6.
-6, exactly. C is 10, so -16 if I do, it will be -6. So that is how we will be able to interpret that, because we know we have done subtraction. Probably